Hello, I'm Silas Robertson, and I'm with Olympus Controls. And today we're going to talk about the InSight Track and Trace product. It utilizes the Cognex industry-leading InSight product line with a software package called Track and Trace. You can utilize this with standard components. This screen and camera is all that you need. It will replace a system $70,000, $80,000 with a system certainly under $20,000 for your implementation. The codes that you're going to look at are GS1, 2D and 1D codes, and this will allow you to confirm the data that has been printed on your pharmaceutical and medical applications. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on the product lines now, and we can kind of go over all the features of the software that you would be utilizing and configuring. This is the InSight Track and Trace software, and as you can see, it's recording the GSI codes using the OCV technology to designate the human readable codes, and those codes are generated from the 2D matrix you can see in the lower right hand corner. This is an example of what you can do with the Track and Trace product. It's not the only thing or the only configuration that you can do. You can also do 1D codes with the GSI formatting with the Track and Trace product. With the InSight Track and Trace product, as I said, you can use the 2D and 1D barcodes. You can also verify the correct code contents. You can validate the GSI data in the 2D matrix or 1D code. You can access the data matrix code quality, meaning you can grade it with an A, B, C, D, or a failure. You can verify the accuracy of the printed text, and you can also detect label misalignment on your product. Here's the typical application that we're talking about. You can see the 2D matrix as well as the human readable code that's generated inside the 2D code. What we're going to do is walk through a typical application on how you would go through and set up the Track and Trace software. The first thing we need to do is go to the setup of the software. The two things that we're going to use are the OCV as well as the ID code. First, we'll set up the ID code and select the button on the screen. Inside the screen, we need to enable the code so we can read the data matrix. We also need to position a region around the 2D code that we're looking for on our label. We need to resize it. You can easily drop and drag it, and then say OK. We can also turn grading on or off, and in this case, we're going to turn the grading on with the ISO 15415 standard. In this case, you can see that the minimum grade we're going to want to set is a C, which is generally accepted in industry. Now that we've read the code, you can see that the grade of our code is an A, and you can also see the GS1 standards that are listed at the bottom of the screen. This is generated from the Track and Trace to show that we're reading the codes and that it is the correct configuration. Next, we're going to use the OCV to verify the human readable codes that are associated with the 2D matrix to make sure that those two match to meet the GS1 standards. You can see that it automatically populates the codes that we need to verify, and we simply select those from the screen. And then we will position regions for each one of those that we're looking for to make sure that they match. So we'll go to the far right hand corner and select the XY region button for each one of those codes. Once we've done that, we can now see that we are reading all the codes. And you can see the Track and Trace software has generated codes at the bottom to match up with the human readable codes. Now we want to run through some samples to make sure that this is effectively working. We can see that the multiple codes are being scrolled through and everything is being aligned with the 2D code. So as the code moves and the human readable code moves, they all line up. We can also look at the statistics to see how many passed and how many failed. when we look at this, we can see that one of the units has failed in the track and trace. And what we can see is the lot has failed in one of these samples. What that means is that the number generated out of the 2D code for lot does not match the one that is the human readable code, therefore not passing. That concludes our description of the Cognex track and trace software package with the Cognex InSight camera hardware. If you have any questions on this, on how you can apply it to your pharmaceutical or medical application, please contact your Olympus Controls engineer at 1-800-236-0607.